Hey everyone, welcome back for another deep dive.
Always a pleasure to be here.
Today we're tackling a topic that's both visually and conceptually intriguing, ambigrams.
Ah, yes, ambigrams.
So, for anyone who needs a little refresher, an ambigram is basically like a word or a phrase, but it's designed in a way that you can read it from different directions.
Like upside down or in reverse.
Yeah.
Sort of like a visual palindrome, you could say.
Exactly. And Merriam-Webster defines them as a design, usually of a word or phrase, that retains its meaning when viewed from different orientations, such as upside down or in reverse. Pretty cool, right?
Definitely. It's fascinating how a single image can hold multiple meanings depending on how you look at it.
Exactly. And that's what we're going to explore today, this idea of duality in a single image and how it kind of connects to the bigger picture of shifting perspectives.
And it's perfect because our listeners have shared some amazing insights on this.
They really have. We asked, have you ever changed your perspective on something important? And what led to that shift?
Such a great question. It really gets you thinking.
It does. And one listener shared a really personal anecdote about struggling with body image when they were younger because of, well, comments a relative made.
That's so common, unfortunately.
Yeah. And it makes you wonder, like, how much of our perception, especially when we're young, is shaped by these outside voices, these external pressures?
It's huge, honestly. Think about it. Social conditioning. We internalize these opinions, especially from people we trust, even if those opinions aren't, well, helpful.
Yeah, it can almost feel like a cognitive bias.
Absolutely. We tend to latch on to information that confirms our existing beliefs or fears, even if those beliefs, those fears, were kind of imposed on us in the first place.
And it's amazing how a few words, even just a tone of voice, can have such a lasting impact on how we see ourselves. It's kind of unsettling when you think about it.
It really is. But it also highlights how important critical thinking is. As we mature, learning to question those influences, those external voices.
Yeah, to filter them through our own set of values.
Yeah. Right, because that's where the real shift happens, not just changing your mind, but developing that ability to really analyze information.
To see potential biases, to
Yeah.
form your own conclusion.
Exactly.
Okay, so this leads us to another question that came up from our listeners. How do you interpret the saying, things are not always what they seem?
Oh, I love that saying.
It's like something out of a mystery novel.
Totally. And life is full of these layers, these hidden meanings, just like a good mystery. And I think ambigrams actually illustrate this perfectly.
How so?
Well, you look at an ambigram one way and you see one word, but then you flip it and boom, it's something else entirely.
I see where you're going with this. You're saying people are kind of like that too.
Exactly. We all present a certain face to the world, a carefully constructed persona, and it's how we navigate social situations, protect ourselves.
It's interesting because this listener who brought up the things are not always what they seem saying, they actually went on to say that this idea of wearing masks, it isn't necessarily negative.
Yeah, it's more about having that control, choosing how much we reveal to others.
Right. It makes me think that maybe we all have different comfort levels with vulnerability, with letting people see those, well, those hidden parts of ourselves.
For sure. And that ties back to what we were saying about perspective shifts. The more experience we gain, the more we learn to trust ourselves. I think maybe we become more willing to, well, shed those masks a little bit.
To let people see the full picture, the upside down verse.
Yeah, to show all the sides of the ambigram, so to speak.
I love that. And, this listener also mentioned that finding someone who accepts you, even those hidden parts, those more vulnerable parts, can be such a powerful, powerful experience. Like a real aha moment in terms of personal growth.
It is. It's about finding those connections where you can be authentically yourself without that fear of judgment.
And it's not just about being accepted by someone else, but accepting yourself too, right?
Well, absolutely. Embracing all those different facets, those complexities that make you, well, you.
It's like realizing that you are an ambigram. You're not just a single word on a page. And so much more interesting that way, I think.
Definitely.
Well, I think this deep dive has given us all a lot to chew on.
We've covered a lot.
We have. This idea that we're all multifaceted, like ambigrams, that true growth comes from challenging our assumptions, embracing different perspectives, both in ourselves and, well, in others.
And it leaves us with a thought-provoking question for our listeners to consider. If our lives were chemigrams, what hidden meanings or perspectives might we discover by simply shifting our viewpoint, looking at things from a different angle?
So much to ponder. Thanks for joining us for this deep dive, everyone.
Until next time.